Good morning, all of you. In last video, we had discussed about the basic writing skill, and in that we had discussed about the sentence constructions of phrases, kind of sentences, just like interrogative sentence, imperative sentence, declarative sentence, exclamative sentence. In this video, we are going to discuss about the parts of sentence and parts of speech. Let us now talk about various parts of sentence. A sentence, as you know, that is a group of words that is complete in its structure and convey a proper meaning. A sentence has the following parts: a subject, a predicate, an object. In its simplest form, a sentence has two parts: a subject and predicate. Now let's discuss about the subject and predicates. Subject. The subject of a sentence tells who is performing the action of the sentence. It can be person, place, or thing. The subject represents what or whom the sentence is about. For example, the old man built a road. In this sentence, the subject is old man. The old man built a road. This is old man. Old man is performing the action. The predicate. Second thing, the predicate says something about the subject. The predicate of a sentence include the verb and everything that follows it. For example, the old man built a road. In this sentence, the predicate is built a road. It means it says that old man doing something, let's say built a road. The subject and predicate make up two basic structural parts of any complete sentence. And last thing is the object. The object is a part of predicate. Objects tell about the thing being acted upon by the verb. For example, the old man built a road. In this sentence, the object is road and verb is built. There are many other optional parts of sentence such as complement, modifier, adverbial, etc. Now, next thing, parts of speech. You have read about the parts of speech in previous class. And communication skill. So let's quickly revise the parts of speech here without going in further details. There are following parts of speech. The first, noun, a word for a person, place, or things. For example, Rima, Chennai, box. Next thing, pronoun, a word that stands in for a noun is pronoun. For example, he, she, I, we, they, me, her, us, him, them. Next thing, verb, a doing word. For example, cried, jumped, is, was, will, page. Next thing, adjective, a word that describes a noun or pronoun is known as adjective. For example, green, in a green pool, or young in a younger. It describes the girl is young and pool is green. It's an article. A word that introduces a noun is known as article. Just for example, a box, the Taj Mahal. Here the A and the is article. Next thing, adverb. A word that describes an adjective, adverb or verb is known as adverb. For example, he jumped quickly. Here, quickly is jumped. Quickly is adverb. So, next thing, prepositions. A word that shows the position in the time or space is known as preposition. For example, dig in. Here, in is preposition. Conjunction. A word that connects two sentences together is known as conjunction. Sometimes called a connective. For example, and, but. For example, example of these are: after my fall in stairs, I cried and my brother laughed it. Here, and works as a conjunction. And last one, interjection. An outburst or word people say when they are playing for time. So, here example, he will now show. So these are some parts of speech. Now let's discuss about the sentences word for quantifiers. In our day-to-day life, we talk about a lot of things. While talking about nouns, we may need to tell about its amount and quantity. For example, a kilo of rice, or many people, a lots of effort, etc. The words that describe the quantity and amount of noun are called quantifiers. In this video, you shall learn about the quantifiers and how you can use them. First thing, countable and uncountable nouns. Countable nouns. Countable nouns are those which can be counted. As for example, books, apples, pens, phones, glasses, etc. Countable nouns can be used in both singular and plural forms. Uncountable noun, on the other hand, are those nouns which cannot be counted. As for example, money, milk, time, etc. Uncountable forms are always used in singular forms. And quantifier for countable and uncountable nouns. We use quantifiers when we want to give information about number and quantity of a noun. As for example, we ate some bread and butter. Here, some is quantifiers. With uncountable nouns, we can use much, a little, a very little, a bit of, a great deal of, a large amount of, a large quantity of, etc. With countable nouns, it's a many, a few or very few, a number of, several, a large number of, a couple of, a great number of, a majority of. These are some countable nouns. We can also use some quantifier for with both countable and uncountable nouns. For example, all, more, almost, no, none, some, a lot of, a plenty of, tons of, enough, less or least, not any, lots of, heaps of, any, and lots of. These are some quantifiers which can be used with both countable and uncountable nouns. Few, very few means that there is not enough of something. A few means that there is not a lot of something, but there is enough. Little of very little means that there is not enough of something. A little means that there is not a lot of something, but there is enough. So these are some quantifiers. Now let's discuss about the constructs. Discuss some examples. He has a lot of money. A lot of this quantifier. There are some books on the desk. Yes, some is quantifiers. He has got only a few rupees. Yeah, a few is a how much money you have. How much money have you got? Yeah, much is a quantifier. There is a large quantity of a fish in this river. Here the large quantity is a quantifier. He has got more friends than his sister. Here more is a quantifier. Few snakes are dangerous. Few is quantifier here. Both brothers works with their father. Here both is quantifiers. She always complains, I never have enough money. In this sentence, enough is quantifier. All of the children live at home. Here all of the is quantifier in the sentence. So these are some example of the use of example for use of quantifiers in sentence. Now let's discuss about the construction of a paragraph. Now that you have learnt about the basic skills of English for communicating orally as well as in written form, it is time we talk about how you can write paragraphs. We shall briefly describe what makes a good paragraph in English and what all things one should keep in mind while constructing paragraphs. Here is significance of paragraphs. Nearly all type of written article of all forms have an introduction, a middle part with some details, and an end or conclusion. If everything is written together without any break, it puts off readers. Thus, it is always a good idea to write your text in paragraphs. A paragraph is a group of sentences that describe one idea. The paragraphs present an idea at a time and prevent text from becoming overwhelming. Now let's how to write good paragraphs. Before we start about this topic, we should remember one basic rule of writing a paragraph. A paragraph written represents one idea. If you have to write about different idea, start new paragraph. In order to construct a good paragraph, you can follow the rules given below. First of all, write an outline for the paragraph. First thing you should do while constructing a paragraph is write an outline of the paragraph. The outline of the paragraph should include the topic on which the paragraph is to be written. And second thing is supporting information of the topic. For example, here topic is you have taken impact of population explosion. So for this topic, we can first think about the outlines, and first one, rate of mortality has decreased. That's caused a population explosion. increased requirement of lands. It's the second thing. That if a population increased, they also require some increased, we require the more lands. Leads to cutting of forest for to give and for the other things we need to cut the forest for just like for paper and for building their houses. We need to increase the land. Increase carbon dioxide production. You know that every person takes an oxygen and then carbon dioxide is throws carbon dioxide in the environment. So that's if the population increased, it also increased the carbon dioxide production. More need of trees to absorb increased CO2. If the population increase, then also need more trees that absorb these CO2, carbon dioxide gases. And lastly, deadlock. These are the outlines. Then write the topic of sentence. Write a sentence that describes the topic. For example, if our population increasing, the ever increasing population of our planet is causing immense pressure on our environment and ecosystem, impacting us in a great way. Let's describe the increasing of population. Then we have to write a supporting sentence for each outline. You have to write at least one supporting sentence for each point in the outline. You can use facts or example to support your points. For example, the region for the first outline is rate of mortality has decreased. For that, we can write the reason for this population explosion is the decrease of mortality rates because of advancement in medical technology. Now, next thing, increased requirement of land. For that, we can write with the increase in population, more land is required for living purposes. Next thing, leads to cutting of forest. The increase in land requirements is the reason behind cutting of forest to create habitable lands. And next outline is increased carbon dioxide production. For this, we can write the reason. Also, the increased population means more production of carbon dioxide as the result of people's breathing. Increased amount of CO2 means next thing, more need of trees to absorb CO2. For this, we can write the reason. Increased amount of CO2 means we should have more trees that can absorb increased quantity of CO2. Next thing, deadlock. However, the increased population also leads to cutting of trees and forests, and thus it has become like a deadlock situation. And finally, next thing, concluding sentence. Finally, write the concluding sentence to sum up the idea of paragraphs. For example, in this way, the ever increasing population is leading us to a condition where we shall not be left with either space to live or air to breathe. This is our conclusion of our paragraph. Finally, combine all the lines to get your final paragraph. Now combine all the lines of step 2, 3, 4 to get your final combined paragraph. Here is our topic is impact of population, and and we can write about the impact of population explosion. Here is our paragraph. The ever-increasing population of our planet is causing immense pressure on environment and ecosystem, impacting us in a great way. The reason for this population explosion is the decrease of mortality rates because of advancement in medical technology. With the increase in population, the more land is required for living purposes. The increase in land requirement is the reason behind cutting of forests to create habitable lands. Also, the increased population means more production of carbon dioxide as the result of people's breathing. Increased amount of carbon dioxide means we should have more trees that can absorb increased quantity of carbon dioxide. However, the increased population also leads to cutting of trees and forests, and thus it has become like a deadlock situation. This way, the ever increasing population is leading us to condition where we shall not be left with either space to live or air to breathe. This is our final paragraph that we got after writing the different, after following the different steps. This is, and after combining all the sentences, we got this final paragraph. To create any paragraph, follow these steps, the proper writing of paragraphs. Keep in mind that one paragraph represents one idea. So, if you are going to write any paragraphs, try to include single idea for a single paragraph. If you have to write about the other different ideas, start new paragraphs. So that's all for today. Thank you.